Hi, Luke.
Hi Mike, how are you, Dave?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Good, doing
Good.
well.
What can I do for you?
What I came to talk about today is with this new OSHA requirement for 100% fall protection. I know Quanta has moved toward kind of a simple solution with the Y lanyard that attaches to the harness where the man has to climb with the Y. We feel at Energized Services that we found a better option in a different device. We're going to use a Yates brand harness and an ASAP, which is just a rope grab fall protection type device. It's going to take a little more training, but what it's going to allow is a quicker, safer work environment. It offers several more opportunities for rescue if a guy gets in trouble, and we want to get permission from the safety department to use this in a bare hand class to save us some training time so we can do the things that we need to do as far as bare hand work goes and not be worrying about this other stuff to meet these training requirements, and then eventually transition into all of Quanta.
So how much would this cost? I mean, we have the Y lanyards now,
Yes.
and we're using them, and they seem to me that they're working okay. I'm sure there's probably better ways to do it, but I'm more concerned about what would it cost. I mean, and I'm thinking beyond just bare hand classes. If we really were to go throughout with the Yates harness, what's the cost?
Typically, we're looking at about $800 per man for a full setup. And right now, we're spending about $200 on the Y lanyards.
Well, that's a big difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So I'm not convinced that difference of $600 per man really gets us anything. I mean, I know we're about safety, but I also know that the way they use it now with the Y lanyards is still working for us.
Yes, it is, and I understand that, and we will still need a few of those Y lanyards as well to be able to get this system in place. However, the Y lanyards do not allow us a chance to rescue. And what this will do with this Yates harness and this other setup, a man can do self-rescue with this setup, and it gives a lot more places for another member of the crew to rescue a man in case there's traumatic injury, which right now we don't touch on that, we don't talk about it. It's kind of the elephant in the room. We don't have a way to get a man down if he is injured, and that's something that we as Energized Services have identified, and we want to talk about it. We want to bring it to the forefront and get started with this training and this new device so we don't ever run into that situation.
You know, the cost is one thing. The other thing concerns me, and you know this, is whenever we introduce anything new to the linemen, they're usually, once they've got their equipment, once they're using a certain thing like the Y lanyard, they don't like to change it. Now, I don't know a whole lot about the Yates, but I do know they have that dorsal attachment that's different than what they've done before. And I can just imagine us saying, we're going to do this. Not only is it going to cost us more money, and everybody's going to say, look, we're okay with what we got. It's working for us. We're meeting our safety standards.
The one thing we have going for us is this 100% fall protection is new industry-wide or nationwide. The Canadians have been doing it for several years. Certain portions of the U.S. have been doing it for a while. The New England, the northeastern states have been doing 100% fall arrest, and the only equipment available to them have been these Y lanyards. We have actually taken this new system, showed it to these guys, and they loved it.
Really?
Linemen are creatures of habit. We don't like to change things. You're absolutely right. The 100% fall protection is a big enough change, and there's going to be enough pushback that I feel like if we do it the right way with something that they perceive to be easier and safer at the same time, that we really won't have any problem getting this implemented.
So you're saying that if you'd start with some of your bare hand classes using this, and that would give you a feel for what people think about it and how it's working.
Yes. Bare hand classes are obviously very small. We do no more than 12 participants in a 2-week course. We can integrate this into the course. That gives us two advantages. One is we don't have to deal with some of these other things, teaching guys how to use a Y lanyard or any of this. We have already been through a training course so we can show the guys how to use this equipment quickly, effectively, and efficiently. The other advantage that gives us is we get to kind of test the rollout on actually training people on this. We have actually been trained as trainers with Energized Services, so we
So
can.
does it take more time? Is that gonna add to your training time?
Yes, it will
Is it
a
gonna
little
add to your
bit.
training cost?
I don't believe it'll add anything to the training cost. It's just something that we're going to have to figure out how to integrate during our 120-hour course.
I guess the biggest thing I'm concerned about, Luke, is when I think we're spending $200 now, we're spending $600 per person, and I multiply that out over all the employees we have who will need this across the company. And then at the same time, when I look at, we're meeting OSHA standards now, we've got a pretty good safety record now, and I know that when I say pretty good, we need 100% safety. I'm not making light of that. But I just can't necessarily at this point weigh the difference in the cost.
That is a very good point. I do understand that. We've looked at that cost. We've kind of put some numbers together. The one thing that we can't quantify with a dollar amount is what one injury or one fatality that could have been saved by using this equipment is going to save the company. You and I both know the huge amount of, not just in dollar value that it costs to send a guy to the hospital or pay for a funeral and death benefits and everything else, but the production loss to the company because of the higher injury rate, and these utilities are looking at that injury rate all the time. We feel like we can implement this for, I would call it a marginal cost, $600 more per man, but that might save one guy's life one time, and that could be millions of dollars, where it is money saved to the company, but we really can't quantify it because, again, how do you quantify an accident that never happened?
Yeah. So let me ask you this, can you come back to me with the exact numbers? I mean, I know you know about how much it is per man, and what you think the total amount would be in terms of, and think about everything, in terms of if there's any additional training cost, if there's any other, besides the equipment cost that would take place, and how much it would be across the company. So that we've got a pretty good analysis of what that looks like, and let's talk about it a little bit more when I see the bottom numbers.
Absolutely, Mike. Let me take a note here.
Okay. So you'll do that, and then we'll meet back together.
Yes, I will put this number together. I know we've talked about it, so we have some raw data on it. I'll look it over, push it back through our group, make sure we get some numbers, and then I'll have something to you probably by email tomorrow afternoon. And then we can meet again when you get a chance. I'd like to meet next week early if you have something available Tuesday or Wednesday.
Well, we'll work that out. Once I get your email, we'll figure that out.
Very good.
Good. Let me give this some thought and we'll get back together.
Okay,
Good.
thank you, Mike.
Okay, thanks.